Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Glad that you're here this morning. My name is Tyler. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm going to be navigating you through the wild world of day trading futures, and today is going to be no different. Looks like the market's already doing a little popping right now. Large candles. Some of these candles are pretty large. That candle right there was 45 points. Pretty large in itself, but we're going to take a look at all of this. But if you're here for the first time, welcome. We're going to be talking about ICT concepts, fair value gaps, order blocks, anything related to Jesus, and all that good stuff. So stick around, hit the like button, subscribe, consider asking any questions that you have, and I'll be sure to try to answer any and all questions as much as I can. So with that, let's go ahead, open in prayer, and then we will get started on the morning. Father, we just commit ourselves to you. Thank you for your goodness and your faithfulness. Thank you for everyone that is here. Lord, would you bless everyone that is here and everyone that will come, and those that aren't able to make it. Father, would you bless them richly? Let your presence be made known in their lives. Let them fall more deeply in love with you. Father, I pray that you would bless the work of our hands today. Lord, that you'd be in the midst of our conversation. Father, that we would be diligent and patient to follow our rules, to follow the plan, to not allow the temptation of the markets to take over or to manipulate us. But Father, we would be disciplined in our actions. And we say this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right, folks. Well, good morning. Welcome to another day. And you should see on this particular live stream, we have begun our first fundraiser. We are doing a fundraiser for some nonprofits, and we'll be going between a couple different ones over in the months as we go through it. The first one we are going to be doing and going through is the raining season. We'll talk about them more later. But I'm excited about that, where we can have an impact, not just make money financially, but have a financial impact on the world around us. So I'm excited about what is in store for that. With that, let's go ahead and take a look at the market. I'm going to just do a quick test trade just to make sure I got everything set up here. And make sure it's all going. See, it's not. So, there we go. I think that should do it. Let's double check. There it goes. We have a couple that are not. Okay, so we need to do that again. I don't know why. Let's try that. Make sure that we're working here. None of them went. See? I don't know why I wanted to check this, but for whatever reason, my copier is not working. So we're gonna close that, and we're going to restart these. Looking at the daily time frame, bullish again. We had a major retracement followed by a green candle towards the end of the day. Made a higher high. That was at the beginning of the day, so it never made a new high. And we've reached those equal highs, which I anticipated at some point we would be reaching. Okay, here we go. There we go. And there we go. Let's all right, let's try another one.
Order submitted.
Okay. There
Order
it is
submitted.
working. There we go. Now we just need to make sure we get those on the right ones. Sorry, I knew something wasn't happening. Screenshot's gonna pop up here. We'll take this off. All right, I'm done. There we go. All right, well, good morning, John. Guy, good morning. Randy, Georgette, Lawrence, Dean, Calvin, Sergio, good morning, good morning, good morning. Glad that you're here. Jeff, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm sure it'll be a good one. So from a daily perspective, we've made a new high. Okay, we need to move our levels to here and our current low, and we have buy side and the daily fair value gap. So those are still the overall targets that I'm looking for and anticipating. We have consolidation. We finally, towards the end of day, wicked up at 2 p.m. our highs, but then consolidated. And then now, 6 a.m., we are moving higher. From this consolidation and this manipulation lower, I'm looking for higher prices. I'm not interested in shorts. I'm looking for longs. And the primary reason is this candle right here without sweeping this low. We've maintained a bullish narrative in price action without sweeping or having a change in state of delivery on a daily time frame or even an hourly time frame for that matter. We have this large upswing inside the range and has been consolidating this entire time. So either we continue to see consolidation or we could see some expansion. What's going to happen is not yet to be known. We do have news. I believe today is Thursday. And for Thursday news, we have unemployment claims that happened at 8:30. So that's all done. We are pretty much have a green light to begin looking for trades, looking for entries that we can take today. All right. So we'll get this all worked up here. If you're seeing those blue and red marks for entries, that was me trying to figure out what was going on with my copier. Got it all worked up. All right, there is the bell. We're going to mark out London low right here. London high has been swept. Midnight open. Is sitting right there. And then our opening range gap, we'll drop down to the 15-minute to get that, is sitting right here. We really don't have a new day opening gap, so we're not going to do anything about that. We're seeing a quick sell-off right now. We have a 15-minute fair value gap. We're going to see if it can support that or not. If price is going to find support in that. And then jumping back up to the hourly, or the 4-hour. So we swept some liquidity here. We went higher. And we'll see where this candle closes in the next 30 minutes. That's going to be really the most telling thing that we can see. Are we going to see higher prices, or is it going to come back and make another low? Does that make sense? Are we going to just reach down here in the meantime? Higher time frame, I'm looking at price going this way, but does it want to move lower first? I don't know yet. We got to get some ideas. We have a sweep of liquidity. This is pretty obvious, and we're having quite a bit of a sell-off at the moment. I anticipate it probably reaching for right here or London low. It did hit the last 1-minute fair value gap, which is always an area of interest. The first and last fair value gap in a range tend to be the most reactive, in my opinion. But even if we wanted to take a trade, where would that have been? There wasn't one. There was no trade, except if you were to take in the 930 model. The 930 model would have played out. What's up, Marquise? Good morning. Ruva. Good morning. Welcome. Is a shellacking a good thing or a bad thing? Just note, when you do paper trading, Jeff, it's because there's zero emotions involved. You have a much more clarity when you do paper trading. It's crazy. You don't second guess yourself. You just take your model and it plays out. All right, so there's the sweep of London lows. or the tag of London lows, it looks as if it is just going to go right through it. These are 40-point candles. We got a lot of low resistance liquidity right here. We'll see how far it wants to go. This is the main fair value gap here at 1033. And let's jump up to the 15-minute chart and see if there's anything there. Nothing. Is that our manipulation to go lower? I can tell you that it's going pretty fast. Yeah, this is the only fair value gap that is left, in my opinion, that is worth noting on this retracement. We have the midpoint, so we mark the midpoint. There's London low. That could be considered a breaker right there. Yes, 2 aim to 5. So see how we went, we ran, hit equilibrium, closed above. We did close inside of that new day opening gap, but I'm now just more interested to see if it wants to come back up this way. And that's where I think it's going to go. I'm first going to see if we want to make a lower low, or I want to see a failure to run lower. So either a sweep or an attempt to run lower, but it fails, and then look at taking that long. I'm not going to take this V-shaped recovery. Note this first fair value gap here of this range. We tagged it, barely. That is an inversion inside of a breaker. Go down to the 30-second here. There's a 30-second fair value gap here. I'm just going to mark this and keep an eye on it. I'm going to go back up to the 1 minute though. This is where I'm anticipating a failure swing lower. This has all been worked through quite well. Why do we need to go lower? I don't think it does. I think it wants to go higher. We have a higher draw on liquidity. That's what I'm interested in. Be 38 points. I am going to take one contract or a long right here. And see if it wants to move higher here. we close below this 30-second that I marked out, then I'll probably close the position. Watching London low here, find support, and the tag of that 30-second is primarily what I was looking at. I said I wanted to see a failure swing. To me, this is the failure swing. If it wants to be more prominent, then let it be, but I'm looking at this being the failure swing to then come all the way back up here. We'll sell one contract at the opening price at 9:30. Let's see if we can get all the way up there. $15-minute time frame, big wick. I would like to see in the next 4 minutes it close inside of that. Inside there. Stop loss is going to be at 580. We'll just set that there. It's right below the fair value gap. It probably should be a little bit lower. We'll do 570. Oh, there's some type of manual input. You see the flash lower. We'll see if it holds. Filled that 30-second completely. Let's see if it holds it. Doesn't look like it's going to. Probably get stopped out here. I'm going to move this lower for the purpose of making sure I don't get wicked out and it's still close above this 30-second. Primary reason for closing my position is this 30-second right here. Okay, do you see that? See how it's reacting to that 30-second? That's why I'm doing that. Okay, this is the 30-second I'm watching. I'm only watching the 30-second because of how quickly price was moving. When you go to the 1 minute, what do you get? I mean, there's just two candles on the 1 minute. You can't really see anything clear. So I'll drop to the 30-second because price is fractal to get a better idea of where price is reacting. I still don't know if this is going to hold, but it had a reaction. That's a good sign. I just don't want to get wicked out in case it does close below it. or come down here and then close above it. But I'm hoping that we don't even revisit down here. I'd like it to start moving. If you're wondering, like, wow, Tyler, that's risky. Well, I'm only taking 2 micros. My risk is if I take this loss, I'm still within my risk parameters and I can still take another trade. The reason for my entry is still the reason why I'm still in this trade. That 30-second finding support. We close below it, I will close my position. Got a 15-minute candle. Let's see what that looks like. Very a big down close candle on the 15-minute time frame. Let's look at the 30-minute and the hourly. Bearish sweep. Maybe I have the wrong direction. We're paying attention to this 30-second, and we will make our fact. We're not going to change anything. I'm going to let this play out. I'm not going to let my emotions meddle in the middle of a trade idea. Okay, watching it here reach lower. Let's see how it closes. Do you see how all of the bodies, for the most part, are above that 30-second fair value gap? That's just interesting to me. It doesn't mean it's going to hold. If it does, that would have been my evidence. Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right, there's my close below, and I'm closing my position. The 1 minute closed inside that. Do you see that? Followed my rules. Can't complain. If it takes off from here, it takes off from there. I'll be more interested in managing my emotions and not allowing myself to chase a trade that I got stopped out on. 5 minutes closing here in a second. It's going to give us a doji 5-minute candle. Unless it just pops higher right now. Technically, this is a 15-minute breaker. Is Ted here? I think he calls this, ICT calls this a certain type of breaker. It was a recent addition to what he communicated. But when you have a 15-minute fair value gap, you can anticipate it reaching up into that level. Hey, we have our first a donation to the raining season. We haven't talked about them yet. I am excited about doing this for them. And there's going to be more in the future. But thank you so much. The Raining Season is a nonprofit. It's an orphanage in Sierra Leone. My wife has visited the orphanage. She's held the children, played with the children there. We support a couple kids that are there. And it's unique in the fact that you can have monthly video calls with the kids you're supporting, and you can build a relationship. The thing about, in my opinion, giving is that I think giving needs to have your emotions tagged behind it. A lot of it's very easy to give without the emotions. You know, maybe your spouse does all the giving and you just know about it and you know the finances. Okay, that's great. There's a benefit to that because you're yoked together as one. But there's something about when you emotionally put yourself and you give with your emotions involved in a good way, like, wow, I'm making an impact on this specific child, that I think is very powerful. Not just meaningful, it's very meaningful, but I think it's also very powerful in how you view giving as well. I remember having a conversation with my wife. We're just waiting here to see something happen. That I said, I almost would prefer to give to homeless people on the street than give to my church. Because when I give to that homeless person, I'm making a tangible impact. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about the addicts on the street, but somebody really in need. Because you can see right there the impact of that. Compared to giving to a church as a, tradition. We still give to our church, but so I'm excited about this fundraising. This mission is, I talk about this all the time on this channel. This is financial freedom for kingdom impact. If you have financial freedom with no plan, no purpose, what's the point? I don't think the Lord blesses that. Ridiculous. I'm not getting in another trade because when you get stopped out based on your rules and you re-enter, I've done that too many times. I've lost too many times. So I'll take a shot. I'm not opposed to taking risk. What you saw there, some people would say I would have never taken that. Okay. But what you have to get good at is being able to take a risk, accept the result of it, that you got stopped out. And number two, this is the most important. Accept that you were wrong. This has been the hardest thing for me to do in my trading journey, is accepting that I was wrong. I was wrong. So if the fact that I was wrong then tells me I need to sit on my hands and wait for some clarity. If I can't accept that I'm wrong, I'm re-entering hoping that I'm still right, because I can't accept the fact that I was wrong. Now, I'm not pointing you out. I'm using this as an example to talk about my own experiences. If we are not going to make another low and we start getting expansion, I'm interested in it. But where I'm going to be interested in it, I'm not sure. It would probably have to be above this level. Probably have to be back above midnight open. Is probably where I'm anticipating. We do have that breaker. We need to see that fail. Maybe something like this, and then that would be an opportunity to go long. It would be a breaker, a messy breaker, but it would work. Either way, I'm going to sit on my hands right now. Hang on, folks. I got to pull you off my screen here. All right, so we made the lower low. 15-minute time frame. We got 2 minutes left, and this will be the candle. That's very... this was the last 6 a.m. candle, and look what happened. It closed and went right back up. You see that multiple times at 6 a.m. or 10 a.m. Here's 10 a.m. There's 6 a.m. There's 6 a.m. We could come right back higher, but we have to respect the fact that this is a 4-hour sweep of liquidity, sweep of the highs, 4-hour candle. So we just got to respect it. I'm still, my higher time frame analysis is still to the upside. We just need to find clarity on when and how does that want to take place. Everything here has been mitigated. There's not a single hourly fair value gap that's open. Is there any 30 minutes? This one's been tagged. This 30-minute right here has been tagged. Do we want to reach back down into that, or are we just going to stay at this midpoint? We shall see. We closed above, the 4-hour closed above the midpoint. If you remember yesterday, the 10 a.m. candle yesterday opened at the midpoint. We sweep liquidity. If this closes right here, I'm probably going to take another shot at a long. Okay, it didn't. I was like, if that's just going to go right there, I'll take that. I've seen it happen too many times. Technically, it could do it on this candle too, but it's just not as aggressive. It's not as desirable. It's still desirable, but just not as desirable. Look at the bodies. Bodies stayed above the low and just wicked lower. And I'm not necessarily interested in taking an expansion. I would prefer to take a long and then retrace, or take the long after the retracement. It protects me in case it's just a random, mess with you candle. Just a giant candle like this, and then now we're going the other direction. Yeah, I haven't gotten anything, John, here. I was just on my email yesterday. Hey. Failure swing. Let's see what happens here. Tag of the midpoint. Did we? I'm wondering. Yeah, we did. We came up to 50% of that drop. Interesting. You see that? You guys see that little bit of detail from this low to the start of the drop? This is the midpoint. It's right in line with that breaker, and we referenced it twice. And tagged midnight open. Man, I was hopeful. Hindsight's a little 20/20. A little bit clearer. Five-minute change in state of delivery is right here. It's the candle that ran the low. So if you look at the 5-minute time frame, none of these candles ran this low. This candle did. So this is the candle we're referencing, the candle that made the sweep. So we're looking at that as a 5-minute change in state of delivery if it wants to go higher. We do have a large 15-minute fair value gap here. So do we anticipate it going all the way up here? Yeah, but it could hit this fair value gap and retrace. It could hit this inversion and retrace. There's some resistance here. And as long as we stay above the equilibrium, I'll keep a bullish profile. The market is saying lower right now. This hourly wick at 9:30 is saying lower prices. What about the 11 a.m. candle from yesterday? I don't. What time frame? On the 1 hour chart. What about it? It's an order block. Or is that the hourly that I'm looking at? Yeah. It doesn't stand out to me. No, I don't think so. I mean, the 12 o'clock just got swept. This is the Nasdaq. Top right corner. Gives that info. I want to go long, but market's showing short right now. What the heck? How does that go away? Why is that going away? Does anybody know how to get rid of these things? Guys, I don't know how to get rid of that. I have no idea what it's doing. There. What the heck? All right. Bodies have stayed above the midpoint and this initial drop lower besides this. That's intriguing for a long. I just think it's a little early. Just want to thank you for the 50K Apex account I won from you a month ago. I passed it the very last day on Friday, which was awesome because it only cost me $40 to turn it into a PA account. You're welcome, my friend. Congrats. I was reviewing yesterday's price action. This candle right here, we took a we tried a long right here at this breaker. We ended up getting stopped out, I believe, on this. But when you look at price, how it came back down, look at this. This would have been a nice entry. So last fair value gap, we closed inside of it, and then the following candle was a displacement candle. This displacement candle would have triggered an entry. I actually did take a small long here. I just didn't hold it yesterday. So taking a position here and closing it below the fair value gap, when it was created, you would have played out nicely on that trade. 100 points. All right, so 1 minute left on the 15-minute. If more than likely, we're going to get an expansion lower from that 1 minute candle, from that 15-minute candle. It's waited all this time. Well, let's see if it wants to do it now. You know, there is this 10-minute volume imbalance. 10 a.m. Guys, remember that? I'm just curious. I'm not saying I know what's going on here. I'm saying, wouldn't that be something if it reached down for that? It's also at the previous week high. Let's go back to the daily real quick. There's nothing down here. There's no reason for it to go any lower. There's zero reason. I'm interested in longs, guys. There's zero reason. This order block, this wick, and we are coming back down to this candle's high. There's no reason to go short. I'm interested in longs. I'm just waiting for that opportunity. That makes sense. I just don't know what it wants to reach for. That's kind of the hesitancy on my part. Is we had this, we hit the midpoint, had quite the reaction, had a fair value gap that we found support in, and that's why I decided to take a long, being decisive, having a plan. I wanted to go long. I was waiting for the drop first. I thought we ran London low, we hit the midpoint, we tagged a fair value gap. I mean, that is everything trading is, what I just described. Have a plan, have a narrative. When it does what you planned on it doing, you take the trade and you let the trade play out, and it failed. That's just the facts. So now we sit here, we come up with a bias, we come up with a narrative, we wait for it to happen, we call out what we want to see, and when it does it, we take the trade without meddling in the middle. That's the pattern for trading. The longer you do it, the better you get at it. I am just amazed at this midpoint. Like, it is really calling my name right now. None of the candles have closed below there. I really just want to take a long, like, right here. I'm going to take a micro. I really do. we have a fair value gap. It was just inverted. We've respected this level so stinking much. It just looks good. I can't describe it. I mean, it looks good. I'm in the trade with only 1 micro. Why only 1 micro? Because it's not the right time. It's not the right time. But if it wants to start making its way, then I'll be a part of it. But anytime I'm doing 2, 4, 5 contracts, I'm trying to wait for the right time. That's what I would be doing. This is kind of like a this is a discretionary trade. 100%, this is a discretionary trade. It's a gut feeling. It's a gut feeling. That's just the truth. It's not a specific model. I see some things on the chart that I really like, but this is definitely a discretionary trade with backing of an inversion. We do have an inversion right here. But, I mean, you just don't take any inversion either. Just because it has a candle inversed it. Right here, here's an example. I didn't take this one. This one was right here, and it went above it and immediately closed below it. So I'm not saying you take any one. This is definitely a discretionary trade. I should, at this time, throw that bad boy up there. I am not a financial advisor. What did I eat yesterday? Is it intuition or is it just gas? That's what I should put on the screen. Is it intuition or is it just gas? Here it goes. We're going to see a big candle here. All right, so I'm in that trade right now. I need to finish something on my other screen, so I'm going to take this off here real quick. All right, stopped out. The Intuit, it was just gas. It was gas. All right, so now this 5-minute change in state of delivery is gone. We're not going to reference that. I'm interested to see if we're going to get down there. All right, look at that turning into a wick. Oh, wow. Thank you for the donation towards the raining season. That's awesome. I feel like we got a lot of manipulation here. It's a 1 minute. That is a 1 minute fair value gap, my friend. Right there. That is at 10:33. That's probably what I should have waited for. You know what I'm saying? Is wait for the size of these candles to change. Bigger candles outside of this consolidation. Now we also had this candle close above that fair value gap. Instead of taking the inversion inside of the consolidation, I let this influence my decisions. This looks more attractive because of how big it is. The size, I should say. The velocity, in other words. Boom, boom. We can probably go there. Yeah. This week hasn't been the best trading. So this is where, yeah, you might see more losses, but if you respect your max daily loss, you expect your risk management rules, not oversize, you can survive these days. And then when you get days that have a, better order flow, then you can capitalize on those days, make up your losses and make up your losses, but also make great profit. That's amazing, Jonathan. I will tell you now, don't oversize. Now that you made that, don't try to make the same amount the next time. Yeah, I think the draw on liquidity is still higher. Take care, my friend. Where is that? Is that first presented here? I will echo that, Ted. I did take a long as well, folks. I don't have it on screen. I took 2 on screen. One was that gut feeling. I'm not going to keep doing that on screen for you guys. Doesn't make sense. We'll see if it plays out. This is 30, 31. Yeah, there it is. The other thing is I could see us doing this, and then right at the 945 we get a wick lower and then the expansion. If anybody would have a minute, if somebody could go to Fund Indexed Futures, go to the Futures division and act as if you're buying a funded account or buying a evaluation account and put in the code DTJ to see if it gives you a discount. I would greatly appreciate it. I tried it yesterday. It didn't work. I sent an email in. They said they were looking into it. I just wondered if it was working now. Yeah, I'll keep on them. Thank you for letting me know. Have we hit 60 likes and we'll do our daily affirmation? We're close. 15 more likes and we'll do our daily affirmation here, folks. Lesson for today. Wait for aggressive price action before you take the gut here. Ignore the guts on the consolidation. Take the guts on the displacements. That's the lesson. Who cares about risk to reward? Move your stop to break even and make it an infinite risk to reward. Just adjust your stop loss. Make it to where it meets your expectations and it meets your risk management. That's really what you can do. We did tag this fair value gap right here. Boom, right there. What's up, Willy Willy? Look at the tick of that breaker. Oh, it came short. You see that? Almost hit it. I'm going to close this here. All right, so I closed that position. We had a 1 minute change in state of delivery right here inside this fair value gap right below midnight open and respecting that 15-minute breaker. This is the breaker I'm referring to. We'll see if it continues higher or not. It doesn't matter. I think it was a decent trade. From 584 to 623. So it was 40 points. It was a 40-point trade. Man, 40 points, you can't really complain. You can't complain. Take the 40 points and get out of here. Get out of here. Sure, it could go higher. Tyler, was the 933 inversion fair value gap long a good setup from the London low? You mean to take it right now? Like take it long from if it closes above 933? I like inversions that are recent, aka this one right here. Okay, I took the long went immediately once we closed above this. That is where I took my long, right there. I prefer the immediate inversions. Inversions on the 1 minute from way over here an hour later, I'm not as interested unless it's prominent. Is this prominent? It's overlapping with other things. I would rather focus on the other things in this area. So what's going on in this area? We got a 15-minute breaker. We got an inversion inside, a 1 minute inversion inside that 15-minute breaker. We got a internal swing high that we could just sweep and move lower. We have midnight open, and then we have a larger time frame 15-minute inversion fair value gap. Those are the things in this area on why I decided to get out. There is a lot of potential resistance for it to rotate lower. And that's why I decided to close it. So would I use that level? Probably not as much. I probably wouldn't. And the longer you sit in front of the charts, the more you'll be able to pick out the things that you like and don't like. You know, I mean, I had an intuition. I made a a discretionary decision that I wanted to take this inversion higher. It was the wrong decision. Yes, it worked out for, you know, what was it here? 17 handles, 20 handles. I could have sold it, but I was more interested in the bigger move. The bigger move coming up here. And this, but here's the thing. The same thing I talked about right here. The bodies respecting inversion is the same thing that happened right here. And look how that's playing out. Do you see what I mean? Look at the bodies respect this breaker. A 15-minute breaker, the bodies are respecting on the 1 minute time frame. It's just like the 1 minute reach into the midnight open didn't quite get there, and then we have a 1 minute change in state of delivery. I'm like, you know what? 40 points, I'll get out. Maybe this comes right back up higher. Probably. But what if your stop was right here? You know, mine was right there. I'd have been stopped. No, I wouldn't have been stopped out yet. But you also got this large 1 minute fair value gap that we could just dig a little bit deeper in just to kind of get everybody capitulating and then move higher. Get everybody to think we're going lower again and then do one last jot higher. So here, okay, so I understand what you're saying, Anant. I would do this. If you're looking at this candle right here, I would prefer only to take it if it was on the first explosive move. If we had an explosive move, stop, run lower, and then go higher, not as much. Instead of taking the inversion, I would have taken the failure swing lower. That's what I did. I took this trade. I took the failure swing lower, trying for it to go higher. What did it run into? Ran into midnight open. Yes, it did inverse it, but it ran into something else. So while this is correct, you're not wrong, but what else is there? Look at that. Look at this midnight level, okay? So here's what you got going on here. You got the inversion you're talking about. Let's just color that. Red. Let's do that. No, wrong one. Let's color that red. Okay. That we have this inversion. Does it close above? Yes. But what also do we have right here? Midnight open and a 15-minute fair value gap or a 15-minute breaker right here with the 1-minute inversion on the other side. These are powerful. These 1-minute inversions on a breaker are powerful. They can turn price over, and it did. So I would have been a little leery on this. I was more interested on, okay, do we have a failure swing lower? It looked like it. Now let's see if we can go higher, and it failed. So even if you're going to take it, take the trade, manage your risk appropriately, and let the trade play out. Okay? Let the trade play out. Well, there's the move, I think, for the day. Price action is looking nasty here. It definitely was the cleanest setup it presented. I'm disappointed in myself not being patient enough. I'm not mad about the setups that I tried. Maybe this one. I mean, I did it with just a micro, but this trade was also just with a micro. So, hey, washed out here, made some money here, didn't quite make all that from this trade. This trade I don't mind. I didn't mind it. I just, looking back, hindsight, I'm constantly reminded that patience is my best asset. Wait for the clarity. Wait for clarity. Wait for clarity. Wait for obvious. I mean, you could argue. Oops. You could argue that that was obvious. Sure, there wasn't a lot of consolidation. We had aggressive price action followed by a tag, which it did go higher. It did go higher. We just had other factors that, kept it lower. Kept it from not going higher. And then you see the bodies respecting this inversion. So I'm like, okay, might be worth hanging on to. And it only becomes obvious when we actually close, like right here. Or was it right there? So I don't regret that trade. It's just, if you're going to take trades like this, which is fine, it's not against my model. It's not against, I'm not over trading. I'm not impulsively trading. I'm not revenge trading. I'm managing my risk. I have proper risk management. I'm doing all my rules. It's just, okay, you took the loss. Now, how do you respond to it? You could say, I'm just being transparent with you guys. You could say that this trade right here, there's an argument to say that this was an impulsive trade. I would accept that narrative. If somebody said, Tyler, well, according to your rules, yada, 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 and based on that, this looks more like an impulsive trade than a gut feeling. And I would have to say, I see your point. I can't argue against that idea. So if I'm journaling today, I'm writing what I'm telling you down, saying, okay, follow my rules on the first one. Second trade was more of a discretionary trade. It was based on an inversion. It was based on the bodies of the candles finding this, but we were in consolidation and it was more of a gut feeling, and I decided to take it, and it was wrong. Then you have this one. Has all the requirements needed for a trade. Displacement or a sweep of liquidity. We didn't get sweep of liquidity on this one. Displacement in the other direction and an inversion. The only thing that it didn't have was time. Time was not on our side. In fact, it was the time that I prefer not to take a trade. So there honestly could still be a better setup. There's a breaker right there. I'm not interested in shorts. I'm not interested in taking a trade to the downside. But I would be watching that volume imbalance. Yeah, there you go. If it was an A+ in your book and you manage your risk, you did your job. You did your job. I'm so on the same topic, but a different area, is I've been studying what's the word? I'm drawing a blank on it. Modin? No, what is this stinking word? It's the drug that motivates you. It's the chemical in your body that motivates you. What is it? Why am I drawing a blank? I'm going to find it here. Just a complete blank. Got absolutely nothing in my head right now. Like, what is it? Starts with an M. That's all I know. No, it doesn't. It's not even an M. That's why. Dopamine. Dopamine. Yes, thank you. I'm doing a study on dopamine. And just to further my ability to communicate it, I'm going to share some of what I'm learning. And, yes, devotional. We have 3 more likes we're waiting for. 3 more likes. And then we'll do the devotional. But I'm going to do a video on addiction and trading. Specifically, the most impactful addictive drug, which is, well, besides doing drugs, is pornography. Pornography has a 200% increase in dopamine release compared to most other forms of dopamine releases in your body. And I think there's a correlation, a huge correlation, on people's ability to trade and follow their rules. And from what I'm learning, it's extremely eye-opening, extremely revealing to people's ability to follow rules. And I'm really excited. It's going to be a little bit of an investigative series on giving so I obviously have my biblical and Christian beliefs, right? We are abstinent before marriage. We don't set our eyes on anything. Even setting your eyes on another woman is lust in your heart, right? So I have my biblical standing on it, but I wanted to give not just a biblical perspective, but a scientific perspective that is backed by the Bible, to help people say, wow, this is really keeping me from the success that I want to see. And kind of bring some evidence in that way. Interesting. So I'm really excited about it. I am excited about it. I have not done a project or a video this large before. It's definitely stretching me in many ways. Just to make, there's so many different parts to a video like this. How many of you have seen those investigative channels? I think there's one, his name's Jesse or something like that. James maybe. And then Cleo, Huge If True is her channel. Those investigative channels are so cool, but they're so engaging. And that's kind of the idea that I'm like, oh, maybe I could do that, and let's see if that would work. And the more I'm getting into it, I'm like, wow, the amount of work involved for these is significantly more. I see these traders just throw out videos, throw up their chart. All right, here's an inversion. All right, I'm going to post that now. This is way, way more. All right, let's do today's affirmation. We got 64 likes. Thank the Lord. Today's affirmation is based on Matthew chapter 19, verse 26. Matthew chapter 19. We're just waiting for price here. It's 11 o'clock. I'm not looking at taking a short to the downside. I'm interested in long, so we're just being patient. And my day ends at 10:15 or 11:15 anyway. For what I'm going to do. And how many trades? I took 1, 2, 3. I've taken 3 trades. So I have permission to take one more. We'll see though. This is based on Matthew chapter 19, verse 26. It says, Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are impossible. He's talking about the parable. It is harder for a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven. And he said that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. It's pretty crazy to think about it. And as we're talking about this, I'm thinking about, that almost goes against the idea of being wealthy, not rich. Rich is different than wealth, right? Abundance. Being rich is, to me, a soulish term. I'm rich. It's selfish. There's wealth. When you have wealth and you can be a blessing to others, I think that's different. But here's today's affirmation. Okay? Today's affirmation. Today I face every challenge with confidence, knowing nothing is impossible with God. Christ strengthens me, empowers my decisions, and makes a way where there seems to be no way. I want to challenge you on why do you want to be wealthy? What is the motivating factor? I think providing for your family and leaving a legacy for your family is a good thing. But I do think there needs to be more than that. What kind of legacy do you want to leave your children? Is it just a financial legacy? Or do you want to leave something to your children to put their hands to that could have a bigger impact on the world around them? And for me, my face is not there. Interesting. There it is. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Isn't that, that was probably one of the better sells I've had this year. I literally sold it at that breaker. Right there. I think that was a good sell. What do you think? That was a good sell. But I think you need to ask yourself, what is the motivating thing in your heart for finances? For me, it was I was in real estate, I was feeling just this emptiness. I was making $200,000, anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 a year. Yet I felt empty in the way that I felt like there was more. Yeah, I was helping people buy a home. There was meaning behind it, but it's like I'm not advancing the kingdom of God. I'm not being bold in my faith. And I wanted something different than that. And as I just spent time with the Lord and having mentors and people around me, it led me to where I am right now. That's the short of it. To help the body of Christ to become financially free, to have kingdom impact. Now, what do I plan on doing with the provision the Lord gives me? Well, to be honest with you, it's between me and the Lord. That's just the truth. I'm accountable to Him on what I do with it. And I don't want to give my pearls to other people and that be my reward. The Lord talks about giving in secret, not letting do not let your right hand know what the left hand is doing, or the other way around. Even when I give to other people, family or friends or people that are close to us, my wife and I, everything that we try to do it in an anonymous way, put it in their mailbox, don't have a name associated with it, give it through somebody else. Because when I see people do videos when they give money to the homeless people and they use it for the views, they are receiving their reward right now. That was a little sidetrack, but basically, guys, I want to encourage you that nothing is impossible for those who believe. If you have conviction in your heart, run after it. Don't allow the enemy to steal that hope within you. Don't allow the enemy to steal that conviction inside you. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. And you're going to do just fine. I had this thought the other day, and I'm going to end with this. I said, Lord, even if I don't hit the goals that I want for day trading, even if I don't hit where I want to be, and you move me somewhere else, and I stop day trading, I don't know why He would ever say that, but it was just a confession of my heart to the Lord. Even if I don't hit these numbers and the Lord has me doing something else, then hang on. and has me doing something else, I said to the Lord, I said, Lord, it would have been worth it because you know the plans that you have for me and they're good. So even if you're on this journey and you're like, well, I don't know if this is going to work out, believe in all your heart, but trust in the Lord that his plans are good for you, no matter if they end in something else or they end with being successful at day trading. It's about trusting the Lord. So trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. It sounds like a video I did that did very well. Anyway, we're going to end with that, guys. Market's just going back and forth here. Manage your risk appropriately. Save your gunpowder for another day. And we'll be back here tomorrow to see if the market wants to give us something clean. And if it wants to do it in the afternoon, it does in the afternoon. But with that, guys, I think we've touched on everything. Thank you for those that have given to the raining season. The raining season is, we'll talk more about that. I'm not going to put it all in one video. The raining season's a nonprofit that we love. My wife has been to the orphanage, has been able to hug those kids and spend time with them. So we're excited about that, what happens with that. But let's end there. God bless you guys. Stay safe. It's good chatting with you. God bless. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.